Business can be a lonely game, but it doesn't have to be. Welcome to Boutique Chat, where we explore community over competition and how to scale your company with the balance and the happiness that we all seek. We'll hear from product-based businesses of all types, retailers, e-commerce, and wholesale brands, along with industry experts shaping the future of our industry. I'm your host, Ashley Alderson from the Boutique Hub, and I can't wait to chat. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast this week. I am so pumped. I was going to say excited and pumped, and then I put those two things into one word. I'm pumped for you to be here today, Patrick. Thanks for joining me on the podcast.
Ashley, thank you so much for having me. I'm such a big fan, so I'm so excited to talk with you today.
Well, likewise, when I first got to hear about what you were doing with Heart on Main Street, I felt like, man, are our missions so aligned in just being in service to others. And really wanting to see the best for the future of this industry. So before we get into all the nitty-gritty details of what you're working on and where this is all headed, take me back. You've got some family legacy in this industry. Tell me about growing up in this industry, and then we can talk about how Heart on Main Street really came about.
Yeah, so I've really grown up around wholesale, for a long time, we'll say. But, some of my first jobs were in showrooms and painting and setting up and getting things ready for trade shows. And I took a hiatus, kind of went off to college. I had a teaching career and really kind of thought that was my path. And I loved teaching. I loved being part of helping communities grow, and eventually left teaching and came back to the wholesale side, to One Coast, and from a training and recruiting perspective so that really kind of fit right in with the education. And I've fell in love with independent retail. I fell in love with how retailers are part of their community. And so that's really, I've been since 2016 part of the wholesale side, and then more recently getting much more involved with helping independent retailers.
That's incredible. I'm sure there's lots of lessons you've learned on the wholesale side of things that we could dive into, but how did you, how did this idea of Heart on Main Street come about? So being with One Coast and having this relationship with so many great retailers, what was really the foundation and the spark that got this started?
Yeah. So honestly, it happened. I was talking to a retailer, right? And this was mid to late 2021. And as kind of think back to those times, there's a lot going on with retail and having to make changes and how many people could be in your store, and just kind of, there's a lot going on. And I was talking with a retailer, a friend of mine, and they were talking about, that they wanted to make changes in their store. They wanted to upgrade themselves. They needed help with things and didn't necessarily know where to go. And unfortunately, they hadn't found something like Boutique Hub. So I just started talking to them about like, what resources do you need? And how I have lots of connections within the industry. How can I help you grow your business the way that you want to? And started in that conversation was, how many other retailers are part of that they want to grow their business, that they want to make changes, and how can we help connect them to more educational resources? How can we help connect them to other resources to improve their business and really become that, the dream that they have for their retail store, make that come to fruition.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you got to work right away.
Yeah.
I mean, you started to build Heart on Main Street right away. And I love that you have the nonprofit aspect of what you're doing as well, that you baked that into what you were creating. Yes. So what did it first look like? Tell me about like your first couple of retailers that came on board, and how has the mission really expanded since then?
Yeah. So, I have to give you credit in some of the formation. You were one of the first people we talked to about Heart on Main Street. It was back with the conference in Tampa. And at that time, it really kind of a couple weeks, I'm forgetting the timeline, but Hurricane Ian had hit Florida at that point. And you were talking about, with, raising money, what are your intentions of it? And we're still trying to figure that out. But, at that point, it was a really perfect time to be like, actually, this would be a really good thing for our nonprofit to do, and our fundraising efforts to go towards helping out independent retailers that have been impacted by natural disasters and helping them recover after the event, rebuild their stores, and remain a part of their community. And so from the nonprofit part, we focus a lot on education. We focus a lot on helping connect to resources. But from a fundraising standpoint, helping areas get back on their feet. And their retailers are such a huge part of their community. And if you can get retail stores back in, especially after a disaster, that's hope, right? You see that people are excited that these things are coming back, and to help provide hope to the community is so important. So the really of how we've kind of evolved. The first retailer we really helped out was a retailer in Fort Myers Beach, and she had 3 stores. All three were, 2 of them completely wiped out, along with her home as well. The third one able to rebuild, and so able to help her out with providing funds to help her keep going, and then also to help her with. We've started what we call a jumpstart program, working on the wholesale side to
Mm,
get products to retailers. So basically providing a coupon code or a credit so that when they are able to open their doors, they can cash in these coupon codes and restock their shelves and have that not be another expense. So we've
yeah.
helped out a couple retailers with our Jumpstart program. We've helped, last year we donated over $60,000 to retailers that have been impacted by natural disasters. So just a great program.
It's such a great program. And I don't know how you and I haven't even got to talk about this in great detail yet, but I'll say back in the day, because it feels like probably, I'll say 2018, 2019, somewhere in there, Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
man,
Oh, that was
we
Houston, right?
yeah, we had so many retailers that were
Mm,
impacted. And, we're not set up with a nonprofit arm at the hub. People have asked us about it, but it just hasn't been something that we've, really
yeah,
pushed on. And so we were finding so many ways, like, how can we help? I mean, it was hundreds of retailers that were impacted. And it was tough, to really find a way that was not tax imperative
right.
to really help them. So when I first heard what you were doing, I was like, man, like, what a huge benefit, because so many of these retailers, there's insurance not covering what's
Exactly.
happening. I mean, it's a complete and total loss. And like you said, like, they are the heart of Main Street. They are the core of what's
Yep.
happening in so many of these communities. So what a
And there's
huge
just,
benefit.
to that point of the insurance, there's just been so much that has changed over the past couple of years with insurance. I'm finding out more about insurance issues with retailers than I ever think I wanted to know. But it's, $1 million worth of coverage 5 years ago doesn't go as far now.
No.
And so if you had that $1 million, inflation and cost of construction has risen. And so, if you had that $1 million coverage that would have covered you 5 years ago, now it only goes part of the way. And so things like that, just trying to help fill the gap for them.
Yeah. What other, I mean, speak to that a little bit more in terms of insurance or lessons you've learned
Yeah.
in working with some of these stores who have walked through natural disasters. What are the things that you're commonly hearing from them saying, like, oh, I wish I would have known, or I wish I would have had this in place? Are there other commonalities?
Yeah, I mean, so in some areas, it's the coverage that they elect, right? Go back to the Florida example. Flood insurance in Florida is crazy expensive. So retailers, businesses of all types, homeowners even, often elect to not have it because it's just another expense. And if we're trying to kind of create a larger margin, we opt to not have the flood insurance. Well, in a hurricane, as much as we can talk that's wind and that's rain and other things, the insurance company's going to, well, the flood waters came in and it flooded your store, and that's what caused all the damage. So kind of that, I mean, several retailers that we worked with, that was they weren't covered for it. They just elected to not have it and crossed their fingers that it wouldn't ever be an impact. And yeah, that's, I mean, so knowing kind of some of those disasters that could happen in your area, fire in some areas, floods and in flood zones, while it is maybe more expensive, it's something that, think about the worst case scenario. Is that something that you want to completely do out of pocket, or is that something that you want to be covered for?
Yeah, so critical. I would also say we just had someone in the hub that lost the Texas wildfires. They
Yeah.
lost their entire warehouse
Mm.
as a part of Texas wildfires. And I was talking to her, and she was talking about just the importance of making sure on a regular basis you go through and you're videoing the contents of your store,
Yes.
your warehouse, your home, so you have a current record of what's there.
Yeah.
because once it's burnt up and gone or it's flooded, you don't always know what was there. So it's really hard to really verify with your insurance company.
Yes, that's a great point. I was just talking to a insurance company about how can we protect retailers more, and that was a recommendation of theirs. Once a month, go through and do a video around your store so that you can go back and you probably have inventory written down or on a computer somewhere. Worst case scenario, again, computer's gone too. So
Yeah.
having a video, storing that in a cloud somewhere so that you can go back and say, all right, this is what we had in our store, and either actual value or approximate the value that you had.
Yeah. Are there other big lessons you would say you've heard from these retailers that have walked through these situations?
Just I think being on top of it, having a good relationship with your insurance provider and either the broker or your agent, so that you understand, you have that, you can reach out to them when something happens. It can help expedite that. Yeah, I think that's a big learning as well. Just understanding what coverage, having that good relationship that they can update you on anything that might be changing, or that they might make recommendations for you based
Yeah.
on how your business is growing, or just having those check-ins.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Patrick, my insurance agent is my father-in-law. And
Okay.
so I'm a little too close to my insurance agent. Let me tell you, we talk about risk all the time, and you can only handle it so much.
I'm sure, but so that's close. But others, probably good to have that check-in every once in a
It's
while.
good. It's good. It's here. It's time. Are you ready to start planning 2025? Well, you might have your own day planner. You might have a Google Calendar, but let me tell you, I love planning with the official Boutique Boss Planner. The Boutique Boss Planner is a day planner that we created here at the Boutique Hub several years ago, created by boutique owners for boutique owners, and it's more than a day planner. Inside of the Boutique Boss Planner is not only your opportunity to operate with a normal day planner with your hours and your time blocks, but it's also a boutique owner's go-to resource. Inside, there's inventory tracking, social media tracking, monthly reminders and to-do lists, all kinds of information on how to host a month in review to really track what worked and what didn't in your business this month, but also a planning sheet on how to get ready for the next month in your business. Even if you're going to market, even if you're getting ready for social media content, there's tools, tips, and ideas and checklists to keep you on track and organized all year long inside of the Boutique Boss Planner. So check out the link in the show notes for access to the 2025 Boutique Boss Planner, or visit boutiquebossstore.com. Let's say someone goes through a natural disaster and they're saying, I need help.
Yeah.
What's the best way for them to get in contact with Heart on Main Street? Is there an application process, or what does it look like to work with you guys?
Yeah, in some ways, we kind of hear about it organically.
Okay.
We are a newer nonprofit that we started at beginning of 2023, and so still, fundraising and working to really kind of grow ourselves so that we can. But we do have contact forms through our website. You can email me directly at contact@heartonmainstreet.org and kind of let me know. But yeah, we do through heartonmainstreet.org, our website. We do have areas where you can reach out and let us know that, hey, we need help. There's been something that's happened with our store. From a tax purposes and things, natural disasters are a little bit if a fire or a flood happened in the town because of a water main break, money and funds provided, you'd still have to pay taxes on that, which is a weird thing. But from a natural disaster, then that becomes from the recipient tax free. But Jumpstart program, we can work with wholesalers to help provide coupon codes. We'll try and do whatever we can to help you get back on your feet, because that's, again, what is so important is helping your business get up and going again.
Yeah, that's so good. We'll link all of that up in the show notes
Thank you.
today.
Yeah.
And make sure everybody has access to that. Tell me more about the Jumpstart program, because part of our community at the Hub is we have almost 1,000 wholesale brands now that we work with.
Yeah.
So how can brands who hear this mission and they're like, you know what, I want to support this cause, how can brands be involved in that Jumpstart program?
Yeah, I mean, it's we're pretty easygoing to work with. We try and so basically we create a relationship with them.
Mhm.
Do have talk through how much they would be able to donate. It's something obviously from the wholesale side that they would be comfortable with,
Yeah.
and whether it's we have some that are donating $5,000 worth of wholesale product, some that are donating 500. Really just whatever that company is comfortable with. And when we find a good candidate for that, we reach out to that company and ask if they would like to participate.
Mhm.
And it's completely optional. There's no forced requirement to this. Sometimes it's already a customer of theirs. Sometimes that wholesale company is already doing something.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, yeah, that's a customer of ours. We would love to help you out. Sometimes it's a brand new customer or someone that they don't have a relationship with already. And so, being able to help out a new customer, a new store for them is a great relationship builder. And
Yeah.
it's fairly. I reach out, say, hey, this is the store that we would like to help out. If you're able to, would love for you to be able to help. If not, we'll talk to you the next time. So,
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, it's the goodwill
yeah,
of I want to help someone because I really want to help someone.
yeah,
But as you mentioned, there is a secondary benefit
right.
of if this store has not been familiar with my brand, has not carried my brand, like that's a pretty warm introduction to an opportunity to work together in the future, but based out of goodwill. So
Yeah,
I
and
love
that's
that.
sometimes it's easier for a company to be able to provide product than it is money, and certainly there is kind of that secondary element of
Yeah.
helping them grow their customer base too. So
Absolutely. Are there, so I know everything is relatively new and you're still building this out. Perhaps there's a great way we can work together to do this even more, but do you have any big annual fundraisers or is there big like events or how do you attract most of your donations?
yeah, so we've been working with other wholesale companies about providing donations. Again, there's sometimes, and especially economic climate, that can be more difficult than times than others. We do a lot through grants
Mhm.
and individual donations. So people just wanting to donate, $10, $15 a month, or just
Yeah.
at all, just to help in kind of mass numbers. That's really been successful for us. We are looking at having some larger events. We're partnering with Dallas Market Center
Yeah.
to do something there, and having a kind of a Dallas Market Center has its Heart on Main Street event, and really hoping to grow that and hoping to do some things with other trade shows as well. So it's wide variety of different things, but fundraising is tough. I think we got in a little optimistic and thinking, this is something that people will rally behind and really want to help see succeed. And it's tough. It's you're asking for money, and but yeah, we've done a pretty good job, and just trying to every door that closes, looking for another opportunity, and how can we continue to raise money. So,
Well, I think it's still so new. It's still
yeah,
so early. There's so much opportunity going forward, and that's why I'm really glad that we get to have this opportunity here today on the
yeah,
podcast. And hopefully, everyone listening, finds value in it too. And I love that this is also an opportunity to really bridge the gap between. It doesn't matter if you're in home and gift. It doesn't matter if you're in apparel. It doesn't matter if you're a Western store.
yeah,
Retail stores are the heart of Main Street
they are.
of all types, and online stores with warehouses that employ people in communities as well. So definitely a worthy conversation. Are there other pieces of Heart on Main Street that you want others to know about that we haven't already hit?
Some things. Every Monday I go out to a different town and I explore those
Mhm.
towns, and we feature the town through our social media. We call it a Main Street Monday, which a little bit of is awareness growing, trying to get our name out there so that retailers understand resources that we provide. But also, I love meeting with retailers. I love talking to people,
Yeah,
and I also kind of have this secondary. I want to see like what makes a great Main Street, what makes a great community, and
yeah,
what can towns do in order to help those communities. And so, for your audience, if you'd like your town to be part of a Main Street Monday, if you'd like your store to be featured on that, I would love
yeah.
to see where you live. I would love to come to your town. So, shoot me an email, and we can organize that.
Yeah. How involved do you get when you go to these Main Street Mondays with the local chamber of commerce or economic development or Main Street Association? Like, are
Yeah.
they a big partner of yours yet, or is that another opportunity as well?
Yeah, we're kind of doing a little one-on-one and building that. So some areas, yeah, like when I was at just this previous week, it was actually not necessarily a formalized group. It was a downtown business merchants group that they've formed themselves, really getting together, and I worked closely with them. We kind of walked along with their president all day and meeting with the stores. Other times, I'll sit down, I'll have an interview with them so we can kind of talk and I can find out what's going on in the town. What events are they doing? How do they bring tourism into the area? Or how do they bring other members of the community to be part of the downtown community and help their stores? So kind of from a one-on-one, I love to talk to people from that
Yeah.
organization just so I can learn those things and see what they're doing. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's have you thought about this? Just I learned this from another community that's very similar to yours and something that I could see
Mhm.
you doing too.
Yeah, such an opportunity there. When I think about community over competition, right,
Yeah,
across from retailer to retailer, that I
yeah,
think even involving chambers of commerce and EDC and Main Street associations in that conversation, there's so much they all can learn
yes,
and implement from one another. That's
yes.
incredible.
That is one thing that I've seen, with those communities. The ones that actually that they your community over competition is so
Yeah.
true. The ones that work together as a community to
Yeah.
help each other out are so much more successful than if they're, I'm going to hide my secrets from you. I'm not going to share my new ideas. If they are doing that, I've always said, be a part of those downtown, the business development or
Yeah.
the Main Street organizations. Someone in your town is making decisions about how business is going to run. It might as well be you, and you might as well be part of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm so blessed to have come from a super small town, but with very active small business owners,
Yeah.
and so that's so true. You can be a part of that decision making process. In your Main Street Mondays, and you're visiting with all these retailers, and also in the showroom, because I know when you're in Dallas Market Center, you get a chance to visit with them as well. What do you feel like your most successful retailers right now all have in common?
Ooh. Most successful ones, I would say, a lot of them they're scouting trends. They're on top of what's going on in the marketplace. They're doing inventive things within their store. One great thing about the independent retail is you can be flexible. You can change on a dime. You're not beholden to a larger company that's making decisions for you. So that they, bringing in new product or bringing in something trendy, something that and just experimenting with different things, whether it's, creating a kind of visual piece within their store that's really exciting, or they're having an event that's different, multiple events to really bring in different groups of people.
Yeah.
That kind of fluid, flexible mindset, I think, is really important and really powerful for independent retailers.
Yeah, that's so true. I love the event aspect of it, but what I'm hearing you say with trying new things and leaning on trends is you have to be a little bit comfortable being uncomfortable
Yeah,
and testing what you don't yet know, right? The same old is not going to get you any new result. It's going to get you the same old result.
same things, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What about what are some of the most common struggles you're seeing from retailers across the board right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's part of it's a tougher economic climate.
Yeah.
So in areas getting people to want to come into a downtown or coming to the independent retailer,
Yeah.
there's an aspect of that. But from a larger standpoint, I think some of the struggles are having kind of maybe an older model, maybe not wanting to change or adapt. That, as you said, doing the same old thing, just because it's that's the store's been there for a long time, and trying to really adapt themselves and grow as a business is challenging, and it does make people uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so true. Okay, so I have to push on this a little bit further. I've got to ask you this next question because I think to your point, like I love that you and I come from different ends of this industry. Like I started in apparel, and now we bridge apparel and home and gift. And I know you really started on the home and gift side of things. What do you think those two different types of stores can really learn from one another? Where are they similar, but where are they different? And where is the opportunity from one to grow because of the other?
Ooh. I've always seen like gift stores can be, you could carry so many different things and in fashion as well. And that there's almost a blending of categories now,
Yeah.
that, there's, we think of it in these buckets, right? That there's the
Yeah.
gift store, there's the hardware store, there's the fashion boutique, but all of these things really do blend together, and uh, they can work together within a town. They can share events with each other. They can kind of cross promote each other really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of growth in all of those areas. They can all see.
Yeah, absolutely. They all can learn and both brick and mortar and online.
Yeah,
Right? Like I know you were talking about like the old tried and true, like this store's been here forever, but I think there's also like a blend of what can I learn from those who are going online? And vice versa. Those who are going online, what can I learn from those who have been
yes.
here forever? Like one perspective I see is on the home and gift side of things. I see stores who are much better with inventory management, maybe numbers or buying. Like they've been around the block. That social media is a little foreign to them.
Mm-hmm.
Where sometimes on apparel, they're much more like trend driven when it comes to technology and social media, but maybe struggle a little bit more with their numbers. So I love that you talk about just the opportunity for community and really understanding one another, because there is something that they each can learn and take away from the other.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking with a retailer relatively. They were completely online for 8 years, and they just opened up their brick and mortar. And so, from an online perspective, and Facebook Lives, and they've got that nailed. They are down. They are great at that. But then there's other aspects of even visual merchandising within their store. I've never had
Yeah.
to do this before. I've never needed to know how to display things in order to get people to explore my store. And so it's a really interesting learnings from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Patrick, this has been incredible. One last question for you. Take me on a journey. It's 30 years from now,
Ooh.
and you're looking back at just this incredible opportunity that you had to be the grassroots of something that was so needed in our industry, and the trials that you had in order to grow this amazing organization. As you look back, what's the thing that you really want people to remember most about both you as a person and about this mission of Heart on Main Street? What do you hope
Wow.
people take away?
One thing I would like for people to know about me, just my passion. I'm so passionate about independent retailer. I'm so passionate about the community that they've built, their importance to their community. I truly do believe that by supporting independent retailers, making stronger independent retail areas, you build a stronger community by having a better economic situation for people. And so yeah, I would love for people to understand and see just the community builder that I believe that can really start with independent retail. And from the organization of Heart on Main Street, I would love them to see that this is something that inspired change, that inspired people to really want to go back to their independent retail stores, to their downtown areas, and really
Mhm.
see a renaissance of those downtown areas.
I love that. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for all that you're doing for this industry and for so many independent business owners. This is really helpful. So we look forward to spreading the word here at the Boutique Hub. Thanks again for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you took away all kinds of nuggets and new ideas from this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. We love to hear your feedback and give you a chance to be featured on the show each and every week. For more information on our spirit of community over competition, and to access guest downloads and bonuses and all the resources we talked about on the show, head on over to theboutiquehub.com and join the community. We'll see you next week.